All right. Awesome. Great work, everyone. Of course, you practice, and the more you practice, the better at it you get. You've got some really great examples. And the more you see in the chat, the more you can be like, this one seems better, this one seems worse, and you start developing a muscle memory for it. So good job, and we'll practice more over the course of the rest of the bootcamp. But now let's talk about how to engineer transformation and how AI fits into the picture. That you can. We're going to start at 30,000 feet and just talk about how learning works in general. There are 3 steps that we always have to go through on the road to learning and developing some degree of competence with anything. First, we consume some new information. We listen to the audio, we read the text, we watch the video. Then we apply it, we give it a shot in some way, shape, or form. And that can be theoretical or practical. I'm going to give you a few minutes, and then finally we improve on what we tried to do before by getting useful feedback that we can apply and see where we're on the right track and where we're not. This is our 30,000 foot model. And once you understand this model and use it to frame your thinking, it helps you make a lot of decisions around what experience and functionality makes sense for your course and what isn't necessary. So we'll start with the very first step, which is the consumption of content. What content do I need to provide to people? And where people usually start this is by asking, well, what do I want to teach, right? What do I want to teach about my topic area? But that's already the wrong place to start. What you actually want to do is flip it around, because it's not about you. It's not about your expertise. It's about your student. You want to ask, what do they want to learn? You want to think about where they want to be at the end of the line, at the end of the process, and ask, what is it that they want to have and know there? You want to begin with the end in mind. Of course, that line is attributed to Stephen Covey, but the idea of starting with the outcome you want in the world of instructional design, it's called backward integrated design. And we've talked about a little bit like what they want to learn, like what is the thing that they want to get from you. The next step is to figure out how well and under what circumstances. So let's talk about that, right? We start with, what do they want to learn? Let's say I'm teaching a course about active listening. Well, how well do I want them to understand active listening? Do I want them to just be able to explain to me what it is? Do I want them to be able to do kind of a rote demonstration? Do I want them to be able to do it in an effective and insightful way, right? How well and under what circumstances? Do I want them to be able to do this active listening exercise in a controlled classroom environment or in the middle of a heated argument with their significant other about something very sensitive? All those are going to require very different levels of skills. So you start by asking, what do they want to learn? How well do they want to learn it? Under what circumstances do they want to be able to do it? And once you know that, you're ready to work your way backwards from that eventual goal to where they are now. And if you want to build around an outcome that people truly care about, you have to understand that there are really only 3 core human desires that drive just about everything we want. The first is money and security. I want to make money. I want to save money. I want to feel safe. I want to not lose what I have. I want love and connection. We are social animals. We live in concert with other human beings. I want to feel loved, connected, appreciated, engaged with those around me, valued by those around me. And finally, health and well-being. I want to feel good. I want to be healthy. I want to be strong. I want to stay alive. Some internet marketers like to kind of oversimplify this as getting paid, getting laid, and staying alive. And, it's a useful mnemonic to remember it, but it's about more than that. It's about the fundamental drivers of, safety and security, love and connection, and health and well-being. And deducing kind of the thing that you are selling, the thing you're going to teach, which of these core desires does it tap into, is a really good gut check to see whether the idea that you're considering is valuable. You can follow a 5 whys kind of exercise, right? I'm going to teach people how to fill in the blank. Well, why are they going to want that? You answer the question, you dig deeper. Why are they going to want that? And if you chase down that thread, at the end of it, you always get back to one of these 3 core human desires. So let's illustrate. Let's say I'm going to teach a course about email management. So I want to get better at managing email, but why? Well, because I'm always feeling stressed by how many messages are in my inbox. But why? Why does that stress me out? Because I feel like I'm missing opportunity and I look like I'm not on the ball. Why do I care about that? Because I want people to respect me. Okay, it's a love and connection kind of thing. I feel like this does not make me look good. I want to be in better shape physically. Why? Because I want to be healthier. Why? because my dad was around my age when he died of a heart attack, and I don't want to do that to my kids. Right? Okay, so we're talking about health and well-being. This is a clear and obvious one, connection to other people. I want to sell and build online courses. Why? Because I want to make more money. Why? So I can quit my job. Why? Because I hate being at the mercy of a boss who doesn't care about me, right? You thought that was going to go to money, and it actually kind of pivoted in another direction. Or it can go a different way. I want to build and sell online courses. Why? Because I want to make more money. Why? Because I want to contribute to our household. Why? Because I want my spouse to see me pulling my weight. Right? It's really important to understand which core desire, or core desires plural, your course ties into, because that will inform your marketing in a very powerful way later on. Now, here's the thing. This is easier said than done, especially when it comes to your own area of expertise, because you're so close to it, right? What's the saying? It's hard to read the label when you're inside the jar. That is very much the case. It's a lot easier to do this with hypothetical exercises for somebody else than it is to do it with your own business. And that's where ChatGPT can actually help if you're smart about the prompts that you use. You might say, for example, and give it the context, there are 3 core human desires: money and security, love and connection, and health and well-being. Can you explain how a course about fill in the blank might tie into these desires? Now, note a few things here. One, I'm giving it context. I'm not just saying there are 3 core human desires. Which does this tie into? Who knows what information it's going to pull from on the internet about what it thinks core human desires are. It will not necessarily be useful to our context. And the more context I give it, the better, right? It could be a lot more detailed than this. Second, I'm not treating the answers as gospel. Just because it comes back with an answer doesn't mean it's right. But what it is doing is helping me see other perspectives, right? But I know enough about my subject area to know whether the answers make sense or not. So this is kind of like a creative brainstorming partner. Just because someone brainstorms an idea, what's the saying? There are no bad ideas. I've always thought that was nonsense. There are lots of bad ideas. A lot of ideas are terrible, right? But having a lot of ideas combined with discernment helps you see something that maybe you didn't see before. Now, this is an illustrative start, and that's all it is. It's a start. This prompt could be a lot better. And you're ultimately going to win if you don't just copy good prompts from me, but also learn how to formulate your own. So I'm going to give you a few minutes now. And the exercise I want to give you is to think about and then share in the chat, how might you improve this prompt to get even better results? So again, looking at the prompt on the screen, how might you improve this prompt to get even better results? I'm going to give you a few minutes to do that now. All right. Awesome. I love what I'm seeing in the chat. That is great. Okay. So we've talked so far about consumption, about the information to include in a course. And that's an important thing to figure out, but it's only a small part of what drives transformation. And it's the vast majority of what most people tend to think of when it comes to their course. But we have to go a lot further than that. After people have access to information that they can consume, we have to move on to the next step, which is application, right? And this basically builds on the not at all new idea that, as Benjamin Franklin put it, tell me and I forget, teach me and I may remember, involve me and I learn. And this is borne out by all of our experience. Put yes into the chat if you're like, yes, of course, I have experienced this myself firsthand, right? We don't learn things by reading or listening. We learn by doing and experiencing. Yes. Okay. You all get it. So after we consume information, the next step is application. And that application can be theoretical, right? It can be exercises or worksheets or so forth, or it can be very practical, doing real things in their businesses and lives. And this is an area where course creators will often struggle, and AI can help a lot. Because here's the thing. Creating opportunities for application that are controlled, that are focused on just what you want them to learn and aren't too difficult or overwhelming, there's a real art to constructing those exercises. And this is one of those areas where you might choose to spend a few hundred or a few $1,000s on an instructional designer who can come up with exercises and assignments to go with your program, because that's just not most people's natural expertise. Or you can get a lot of good ideas, which you still have to be discerning about, going with some good AI prompts. And we are building a library of those prompts that will be available, like I said, through the Hybrid Course Accelerator. But rather than just give you one sample, I'm going to give you some time to brainstorm and share in the chat. So what prompt might help you come up with good ideas for exercises or assignments or other application opportunities for your course? Okay, so I'm going to give you a few more minutes for that. Again, what the assignment is right now is think about what prompts might help you come up with good ideas for exercises or assignments or other application opportunities for people to take what you're teaching them and put it into practice. So go ahead and brainstorm.